Woo! What's going on, guys? Orm's Forum coming at you guys today with another video, and it's a late one. I'm sorry. This should have been out earlier, but I couldn't get to it. But this is the aftermath, week 6 of the Detroit Lions visiting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Lions win big, 20-6, dominating defense, Jared Goff. Let's get into it. But the Lions going 5-1, and the Buccaneers falling to 3-2. Let's get to some of the injuries right away. The Lions, we did lose running back David Montgomery. He went down after he caught a nice 19-yard reception, juked out a few guys. Looks like he fell on the ball. It ended up being a rib injury. And Dan Campbell says he'll be out a little bit, in quotations. That's exactly what he said. We'll find out more than that. But my guess is the bye week's coming up in a few weeks. Maybe it's a possibility that he stays out for the next 2 to 3 weeks and gets healthy after the bye. So, yep, a little bit. And then, we had guys like Brian Branch, who was out with an ankle. Gibbs was out with a hammy. And then offensive guard Jonah Jackson was out, too, with an ankle. All inactive. So, a few guys out, and we lost David Montgomery. It's a big one. And then the Buccaneers came pretty much unscathed the whole game. They did have inactive guys like Anthony Nelson, outside linebacker, who was concussed. But and then Jamal Dean, cornerback, came back, and then defensive lineman Kalijah Cansey, I think, made his debut as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer with a calf injury, and those both guys returned. So let's talk about the game, guys. Let's go to the offense right away. Lions are on the road. Lions are first. That's how we do it. Quarterback Jared Goff was a magician on Sunday. He was excellent, 30 for 44. 68% completion percentage, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 3 times, but he played fantastic. We'll get into that too. Rushing the ball, running back Craig Reynolds had 10 carries for 15 yards, 1.5 yards per carry. Running back David Montgomery, 6 carries for 14 at 2.3 yards per carry. And then running back Divine Ozigbo got 3 carries for 5 yards at 1.7. Couldn't get the run game going, so they had to rely on Jared Goff's arm. And we all know what happened, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, no rushing game whatsoever. Man, we're losing running backs, guys. And then receiving-wise, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, welcome back. 12 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown, 10.3 yards per catch on 15 targets, the go-to. Wide receiver Jamison Williams with 2 catches, 53 yards, 1 long touchdown, 45-yarder that he adjusted really well to. Nice long pass, 26.5 yards per catch on 3 targets. Got to get him more targets, but beautiful catch. He needed that. He needed that touchdown. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds had 3 catches for 50 yards, 16.7, 3 targets. Tight end Sam Laporta, the rookie, 4 catches for 36 yards. He did have a couple drops, though, 2 or 3. A couple right in his hands as well, too. So he's got to clean that up. But he was playing a little bit banged up. But still, no excuse. Got to catch those balls. And he had 9 per catch, 9 yards per catch on 11 targets. So Goff kept going to him, kept throwing him the football, even though he had a couple drops. And then running back Craig Reynolds came in, had 2 catches, 28 yards, 14 per catch, with 2 targets as well. Wide receiver Khalif Raymond had 3 catches for 23 yards, 7.7 yards per catch, and 3 targets as well. And then kicker Riley Patterson, can't say enough. He did have a big long miss, though. A little bit worried. Are you guys worried out there? I might make a video about this, but he went 2 for 3 on field goals. His long was 36. He missed a 50-pluser. I believe it was a 52 or 53-yarder. Are you guys concerned a little bit about Riley Patterson? I know some people are hot about it. He's never hit a 50-plus yarder in the regular season, from what my understanding is. He had the length on that kick, but the accuracy was off. So it's going to come down to a game where we're going to need these guys. We're going to need a Riley Patterson to hit a 50-pluser, a 45-pluser. And I'm not about to say, man, we need to get rid of him because it's not going to, but is it time to worry? But we'll get at that later. And then I don't say much about the special teams that much, like Patterson and Fox. But Fox was awesome. He ended up getting a game ball from Dan Campbell. He had 4 punts. He netted 180 yards. He pinned the Bucs 2 or 3 times back. It made the defense's life a little bit easier. And Jack Fox was awesome, had the game ball. Let's get to the defense. The defense played phenomenal. 6 points on the road. Doesn't happen in the NFL much, but they didn't stuff the stat sheet but they did make some plays. Linebacker Alex Angelo had 9 tackles. Safety Tracy Walker had 6 tackles. He was all over the place. So was Anzalone. Linebacker Jack Campbell, the rookie out of Iowa, had 7 tackles. He was playing well. DB Will Harris had 4 tackles and did have a pick off a pass deflection of Isaiah Buggs. Got his big mid up, and he ended up getting a diving interception, Will Harris. And then defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson didn't do much, created a little bit of pressure, but he did have 3 tackles, no sacks. He missed Mayfield maybe 1 or 2 times, just couldn't get him. But yeah, he was almost there, creating some pressure, making Mayfield look over his shoulder. And then defensive end, Julian Akwara had 1 tackle and a sack. Like I said, not a lot of big stats like sacks and interceptions, only 1 each, but they played outstanding football. And we'll talk about the Baker Mayfield thing too, so it's coming up. So now we talk about the offense of the Buccaneers. Quarterback Baker Mayfield went 19 for 37 on a 51% completion percentage. Did not have a good day, but he missed a couple throws as well. 206 yards, 1 interception, sacked once by Julian. And then rushing, they couldn't get a rushing game going if they saved their lives. Running back Rashad White had 7 carries for 26 yards, 3.7 yards per rush. Not a bad average, but just couldn't get him going. Running back Keyshawn Vaughn, 6 for 9 yards, 1.5. Quarterback Baker Mayfield, 2 for 6 yards on 3 yards per carry. Then wide receiver Devin Tompkins, 1 rush for 5 yards on 5 yards per carry. But, there's a couple other guys in there too, but I don't always talk about everybody. But 46 yards overall. The defense just played stout on run defense. And the receivers should have had a bigger day. And I'll get into it a little bit. But wide receiver Chris Godwin went 6 for 77. 12.8 yards per catch, 7 on 7 targets. Wide receiver Mike Evans went 4 for 49 on 12.3 yards per catch on 10 targets. Wide receiver Trey Palmer went 2 for 47 on 23.5 yards per catch. He's the one who probably should have had a bigger day. Baker Mayfield missed this guy at least twice on big plays. Beating one, I think, was Jerry Jacobs, and one might have been either Will Harris or Kirby Joseph. I forget who it was, but Palmer should have had a bigger day. Baker Mayfield did miss a couple throws, and I'm not discrediting the Lions defense whatsoever, but there were some big-time throws missed by Baker. So Palmer would have had a bigger day, but it just didn't happen. Then tight end Cade Otton had one catch for 15 yards on 15 yards per catch, 1 catch on 2 targets himself. And then the defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they did play well. There's some guys that were going to have big days. They did. One of them was linebacker Levante David, had 12 tackles, 1 sack, a couple pass breakups. He played really well. Linebacker Devin White had 7 tackles. Nose tackle Vita Vea had 6 tackles and a forced fumble, but we got the ball back. Safety Ryan Neal had 6 tackles. Safety Christian Izien, the rookie, had 5 tackles. Linebacker Joe Tyron Shoyinka had 4 tackles and a sack. Got his hands on a couple balls too, and he knocked it down. Defensive lineman Kalijah Cansey, the rookie, had 3 tackles and a sack as well. And that was really about it, man. They played good defense, man. It was scoring 20 points. Usually, they were giving up 17 a game. The Lions ended up scoring 20. Just a little bit over what they're letting up. It was at home. Usually when you're winning a game, you're winning it scoring about 24 to 25, 26 points. That's usually the average. We didn't need that because our defense played top notch. Our defense played fantastic. So I'm going to talk the Lions offense and Lions defense a little bit. The offense, they came out, they could tell they wanted to run the ball. You could tell they wanted to run the ball with David Montgomery right away. He had 6 carries going into the 5 carries going into the second quarter. And he got hurt early. So it looks like he was going to probably have another 20-plus game, 20 carries game, but it didn't happen. He got hurt early in the second quarter. And then Craig Reynolds stepped in. He himself ended up having 6 carries, but it almost felt like they abandoned the run. They felt they didn't have the personnel, and that's no disrespect to guys like Craig Reynolds, because Reynolds had a great game. Reynolds had a fantastic block on the St.Brown touchdown. And everything. He sprung them loose. He pretty much sprung them loose, and it was an easy score for Amon-Ra. But, he's not going to get the rock 15, 20 times. So they put the ball in Jared Goff's hands, and he dissected the Tampa Bay defense. He played great. 68% completion, 353 yards. Him and St. Brown were in one. They were in sync. He only missed three throws to St. Brown. Incredible. Jamal Williams stepping up. Josh Reynolds doing his thing. So credit to Jared Goff right there. He stepped up. He put the team on his back on the offensive side of the football, and he did his thing. So that was a great game. You know, sometimes game plans go completely out the window. They go right out the window, and you don't know what to do. So, well, you usually don't know what to do because you're a football player and you're a football coach, but he took the game on his back. And that was something that I haven't seen a lot from him. You know, we've seen him have good games here and there, and he's playing great football, but that was a game where he took the team on his back. And I was super impressed with that. Super impressed. And then the Lions defense, what can you say? Yes, Baker did miss a couple throws. Not going to deny that. He missed a couple big-time throws. Who knows what would have happened if he would have caught it, or would he have caught it? You know, Trey Palmer is their long guy, and he beat a couple guys pretty bad, and Baker missed him. You know, we didn't get a lot of sacks. We stopped the run very well, though. We pressured Baker a little bit. We kind of made him throw off his game a little bit where he had to scramble, go this way, go that way. So maybe that kind of helped, but you know, only one sack. But the defense, you can't say enough, man. They played fantastic. 6 points on the road against a team that's got some ballers. Hey, man, you can't play much better. You can't ask for anything better. You just really can't. Great defensive effort. It was just a really solid game all around for the Lions. Offensively, Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, O-line, you know, pretty much playing pretty well. Couldn't get the run game going, I think, because that had to do with personnel. But they pretty much protected Goff most of the time. He sacked him a few times, but that's a good defense, man. That Tampa Bay defense, don't sleep on that Tampa Bay defense. Really solid defense, man. So so that's what happened, guys. 20-6. It was pretty much. You could say that I felt comfortable in that game by the middle of the third quarter. It just felt like they had Baker's number. It just felt like they couldn't get going. You could see some frustration on Baker on the sidelines. That's a good thing about watching on TV. If you're not at the game, you can kind of gauge what's going on the sidelines. You know, you can't hear nothing really, but you can see people's reactions. You can read their body language. And Baker just looked confused. He'd be on the sidelines. He'd be shaking his head, talking to either his coach or the backup quarterback there. I don't even know who the backup quarterback is there. Kyle Trask, I think. And you could just tell he was flustered. You could just tell he was flustered because he didn't know how to do it. He didn't know how to handle these guys. I'm sweating like a dog, by the way. So it's hot down here. So yeah, that's what happened. And they just played really good football, offensively, defensively. Fantastic effort. So that's it, guys. But up next Sunday, or this Sunday coming up, at Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 4-2, first in the AFC North. It's a good squad over there. Got to get into the research a little bit. You know, they got Lamar over there. Mark Andrews is going to be a problem. An excellent defense too. Again, and on the road, 1 p.m. Sunday. We're going in at 5-1, and we're facing a 4-2 team in the Baltimore Ravens. So that's it, guys. Thanks for the video. Appreciate it. Sorry about it being 2-3 days late. Just things happen. What are you going to do? So thanks a lot, guys. Go Lions. One pride. Let's go. Woo! Go Lions.